All right. Good morning again, everyone. It's another new day. We have already another surprise for everybody. We have new insights prepared for you as we begin our day with an entrepreneurship webinar. I know some of you just woke up late and some of you are really still sleepy because, the weather is just giving us some bad weather vibes. But we're here because we're ready to learn something new from our speaker, and that's something to be excited for and to look forward into for today. All right. As a kickoff, we start our webinar, of course, with an opening prayer, and this will be followed by the singing of our national anthem.
Dear God, thank you for the opportunity to meet together. Please help us to come together to make this institution reflect your kingdom. Breathe life into our ideas and decisions. Help us build a team that has love and respect at its heart. Give us the strength to continue working for your kingdom in this time of pandemic. Lord, come give us the inspiration to be the best we can be. May we be a shining example of your goodness and truth within, wherever we are. Inspire our thoughts, discussions, and ideas, and continue to remind us that all that we do here today, all that we accomplish, glory of you. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
All right. Again, good morning. We are very happy to have 31 participants joining us in our second day of our Linggo ng Kabataan celebration and of course in our second day of webinar. We acknowledge the presence of our SK chairpersons. We have here the SK chairperson of Barangay RSB, the SK chairperson of Barangay Uno, the SK chairperson of Barangay Nagasi. And we have also here the SK Council of La Granja, and we have representatives from Barangay Tres, Barangay San Miguel, Barangay Nagasi, Barangay Yubo. What did I miss? I know I missed some, but whoever I missed, please recognize Honorable Gisela.
Yes, Honorable Yona Labrador is with us from Aral, and Honorable Junli Pasco, SK Chairperson of
All right, thank you so much. And we recognize each and every one. We're much better now, and I hope that we're ready to start our webinar Proper. All right. Are you ready? Did you eat your breakfast? It's gonna be a long day. We're gonna be full of, information because this is gonna be an informative webinar, and we have to end and start our day with some productive insights coming from our well-seasoned speaker. We will not take this so long. Let's introduce our webinar speaker at this morning. Our webinar speaker is an entrepreneur with excellent marketing and customer service skills with 7 years of experience in the coffee service industry. He is a coffee enthusiast who is very passionate in sharing coffee experiences, a local coffee advocate, and a dreamer of a sustainable Philippine coffee industry. Our speaker owns and manages Cafe Norma, which was built last April 2014 and still operates up until the present. If you're a fan of Cafe Norma, you're very much familiar who our speaker is because our speaker is no other than Mr. Christian Mark Romay. Let us give him a round of applause, please.
Morning. Good morning, Jebs. Good morning, Tay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Gid, for this opportunity. Okay lang man ako audio? Sorry. Okay lang. Sige. Medyo awkward, no? Kaya hindi ko makita ang face ng tanan kung wala ako kabalo kung sinong gapamati, kung sinong, hindi ko makita ang mga face, lang gid tari kung face-to-face ang meeting. Diba? Pero, adaptability, diba? Adaptability. So, yeah, thank you for the opportunity, Tay, to share my experience. Yeah. So, start na dayon. Start na dayon. Okay. So, can I share my screen? Hindi ko ba mag-share sa screen? Yep. Okay. Yep. Again, thank you for giving me this opportunity, Tay, na makashare for whatever knowledge or experience I have through entrepreneurship man. And I'm glad nga kadamo sa mga participants. Pila to subong sa room? 31. Jeboy was sakto? 31?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, 31. Yeah. So, at first daw nahuya ko mag-accept supposed to be isang privilege to speak today since kung isipon ko daw ka hindi ko I don't feel deserving to speak to you, to speak about my journey, because honestly, if you're speaking about entrepreneurship or you're speaking about entrepreneur or doing business, it only looks nami from the outside but if you're in there and makita mo tanan nga kung ano ka mo, siguro do everyday ako do ga question kasi na question ko self ko kung masigi pa or hindi. So honestly, I don't feel deserving to speak to you about entrepreneurship since I only have 7 years of experience. But seeing the theme for this year's Linggo ng Kabataan, which is transforming food systems, doon ako sige try ko kay do ka it fits on what we do and what we dream of in the coffee industry, man. So what I'll do or what I'll discuss today is honestly, I'm not a teacher. I will not talk about by the book what is entrepreneurship. So my little experience along the way kung ano ang kakatabo and what we are working on. So let's start. First off, gusto ko lang i-differentiate. Entrepreneur is the person who's doing entrepreneurship and building an enterprise. So basically, enterprise is the business, and then entrepreneurship is the whole process of doing business. And of course, entrepreneur is the person who's doing the business. I don't know if may mga BS Entrepreneurship Day sa mga participants subong. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong. Hi Tim, grabe kanami kay gin-open mo gini mo camera. Do kanami kung
Hi,
open ang
sir.
camera
Good
so tanan.
morning.
Do mas
Hindi.
ma-feel ko mag-talk. um and by the way, just to set your expectation lang sorry, because I'm in Bacolod now and dahil ako sa apartment, ang internet ko medyo hindi stable. Hopefully, hindi lang magbisyo. So, that's it. This is entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur is the person doing the business. Entrepreneurship is the whole process of doing business. And enterprise is the business that we're creating. So, entrepreneurship, I just look for the definitions internet. And it says here that entrepreneurship is the process of designing, launching, creating an enterprise. But looking at this definition, naging search ko lang sa Google, what hit me is the word creating. Because basically, humans, we are designed to create. We have hands compared to other animals, di ba? Kung lain ng biology, we are designed to create. So, for me, entrepreneurship is all about creating something. And sa 31 today, 30 something, starting entrepreneurship, it all starts with the idea. And I believe gid nga tanan-tanan ta may ideas. I always say na ang ideas is tananta creative actually, tananta creative. But along the way, I don't know what happens and we lose that creativity. But in starting a business, ideas is very important. It may not be unique, pero ideas is very important in doing business. But even though it's the most important thing in creating an enterprise or creating a business, actually this is the easiest part, the creating of ideas. Because I always say na I don't know if kamo we mostly kita ng mga youth pa man ka 20 something pa man lang ko. So wala pa man 20 something pa man lang. So when we discuss about ideas, di ba, napaminsaran ko man na may isa ka business, di ba, business, nauna mo ko napaminsar sa iya, nagdugay ko na napaminsaran, di ba, may mga amon ang notion yung gisa. But ideas without execution is useless. So, in entrepreneurship, I always say na execute. Ideas are the most important thing, but it's the most easiest thing to do. Thinking of ideas. Hapos maminsar, budlay na kung, di ba, kung magplano, kamo gani, di ba sa mga lagaw nyo with friends, grabe ang plano, pero mag-execute na kung saan malagaw, kung diin malagaw, sino madalas ang amo na, do ka, gadula na dayon tanan. So, gusto ko na nga daw ma-mind tattoo nyo for those who are here, who are listening, and who are joining this meeting or webinar na if you're thinking about doing entrepreneurship, don't spend much time in thinking about the ideas, because ideas, it's the most easy part. It's important, but it's easy. It's very easy. It's all about execution. The world does not play favorites. Ako ginapaminsar ko, pero may ang ideas, ang business ideas, gina-shower, hindi mo ginapaulan ng isang ni Lord. Let's say ni Lord, ginapasa yan sa ating tanan, depende na sa atin kung sinong ma-execute on those ideas. So it's very nice na if you're thinking about doing business, look for the idea that fits your personality, fits what you love, and ang idea or ang business idea nga, you know that you can make an impact too. It's all about impact compared to income. More impact, less income. Income is important in doing business for sustainability, but it's not all about income if you're doing business. So that's it. I just want to emphasize this, that ideas, ang napaminsaran nyo naman na, napaminsaran ka friend nyo or ang tupadbalay nyo nga nagnegosyo, napaminsaran nyo naman na sa una, gambal, pero may gasundan ay ideas, pero hindi nagasundan ay ideas, tanan, ta same ang ginapaminsar, it's all about execution. And after execution, it's all about management. If na-execute mo na, it's up to you on how you will manage it, how you will be able to grow the business. So you need to be strategic in doing business, man, after you execute it. Okay, okay pa man tanan? Let me know if duga ka bored ka mo, raise hands lang mo if may questions, or I want this to be more casual okay? If you know me personally, do ka hindi gusto sang formality ka. So if you have questions along the way, if you want to interrupt me, just raise your hands and we'll have good conversation. Let's make this conversational lang. I was saying earlier that when you execute an idea, after you execute the idea, all after na is management na lang. You need to manage it efficiently, and of course kinahanglan nga ang imo ideas is effective. Sorry, sa ideas, okay, in creating in ideas, if damo-damo ta ideas, we should always look for me, I believe na entrepreneurship will save a lot of social problems. Good. I mean, doing business the right way can solve a lot of problems. Good. If, I don't know, of course, you already know ang mga game changers sa business, like how Grab taxi disrupt the taxi industry. Diba? How Airbnb disrupted the hotel industry. Those are innovations na they were making money, and at the same time they are solving a problem. So in those ideas nga, ang ideas nga kasulod sa mind ta, in if we are thinking of doing business, if there are ideas nga kasulod sa mind ta, we should always look sa kadamo-damo sina hindi mo na ma-execute tanan eh. Sa kadamo-damo sang ideas nga sa ulo, hindi na ma-execute tanan. Mabuang ka lang guro or ma-times 10 mo lang ang lifespan mo, pero ang ideas nga sa ulo mo hindi mo na ma-execute tanan. So you need to choose or you need to commit to a certain idea na makasolve a social or technological problem or business problem man, while seeing the entrepreneurial opportunities sa amo na nga business venture. Of course, you need to be a critical thinker. Again, creativity. I will repeat it again, but I don't know. We are all creative in a way. Siguro gakakulbanan sa judgment sang iba na muna nga gakalus ng ating creativity. And of course, we on if my ideas now, we should have the initiative to execute it. And if there are problems along the way, we should be persistent on the goal. There are changes we need to adapt. And of course, we should have the discipline. Because kung entrepreneur ka, kalabanan, sang start ko when I was like, siguro kalabanan, di mga 21, 22, that age, subong nga meeting. When I was starting, kalabanan, hambal nga, mayo kaya wala ka boss, kapag gusto ka lang. Pero deep inside, sa totoo lang, daw kanami siya tanawon, pero budlay if lawas mo kontra mo everyday. So, first akong aga, kung entrepreneur ka, kung gado ka business, wala may mapukaw sa tod mo sa aga, hindi ka malate, pero lawas mo gid pero may imo kontra. Ang imo gid nga pagkatamaran ng imo nga kontra, especially sa amo nga weather, di ba? And then, ulihin mo na lang ma-realize nga ang consequence gali sang imo kung wala ka discipline is ma-pile up, and then eventually hinulsor ka na, and then wala ka na kabalo kung sige yun, ma-power hindi. So hindi mahambal lang ta sa mga friends ta nga may business nga nami kay wala ka boss, pero hindi budlay if yourself is your number one enemy good always if you're doing business. Again, amo na namian ko nga mag-share today, since because of the theme of the which is transforming food systems, right? Transforming food systems. And I want to share with you on what we do, on why we started, Abe. What we do actually is, when I started Cafe Norma in 2014, honestly, wala ko nagalin sa, may mga friends ta, di ba, nga from business background, family from the lolo, the business. So when I graduated from college, wala ko balo ano brahon ko at first. Tanan man taguro, I don't know, may mga already nga gaskwela pa, or may mga questions ka nagyan yung nga maano ko after college. I don't know sa iban, basta you're blessed na you already know what you want to do. But when mag-graduate na sa college, wala ko balo ko no brahon. Again, wala ko naghalin sa business family, like traditional business family nga from lolo, ganegosyo, or the venture. Yes, may changging ang lolo before, pero not in a sense na do ka traditional business family. So, okay yan, bako try ko I love doing coffee, I love drinking coffee, so let's make a coffee shop. So, why, without any knowledge about coffee or how to do business. Months after kami ka-operate, di ba, 20 years old na ako sa na-discover kung may kapigali sa Carlota. Pero ako, nabalaan ko sa mga 20 years old something na. So, dito na-realize ko, dito ko na immerse if paano mag-work ang coffee industry. So, dito ko man na-realize nga kinahanglan gid, we all love coffee, di ba? We all love coffee. I mean, maybe iba hindi lagi ng kape. Pero coffee for me is the most taken for granted nga beverage. Kabalota kung paano mag-inom. I mean, kabalota sa mga menu, so ulotan ng iba nga menu, pero wala ta kabalo usually if ano ang process from the cherry to cup. So, when I started Cafe Norma in 2014, na-realize ko may kapigali sa Yubo, sa La Carlota, sa Aral, sa San Miguel. So, we committed ourselves into, okay, himon ta local tanan ng coffee ta. I mean, diri na lang ta sa La Carlota, tanan makwa sang kape. Pero, and then I said, let's highlight the potential of growing coffee and making a name for Carlota and in the sense of coffee, be. So, nag-immerse ko sang coffee, kung paano i-process, paano tanan, and then na-realize ko nga ka-unfair gali kaayo sang system on how the coffee supply chain works. It's very unfair, actually. It's very unfair. I cannot share with you paano unfair siya if I will not show you the process. So basically, instead of even though entrepreneurship webinar ni basi mag-coffee 101 tagulpiada. So I just want to share with you kung paano and what we do no, in transforming the food system. In my case, the coffee chain supply system. So, this is a coffee tree. Up until now, gakakibot ko nga may mga tao nga way kabalo ang kape is from a cherry. I don't know, kamo guro kabalo na kamo tanan nga mo ning tsuras ang kape. Hands up be? Hands up kung mga kabalo? Or hands up kung wala kabalo? Hands up punta sila tayo kasi way na may kapamati. Pero, yeah, this is a coffee tree. And supposed to be, mag-harvest ka coffee is, pulagi dapat. Pulagi dapat. But, sa aton, as much as I want Cafe Norma to sell local La Carlota sourced coffee lang, we can't do that because of the cultural challenges, man. Kaysa La Carlota, miski hilaw ang kape gina-harvest. Not just in La Carlota. It's a common practice, it's a traditional practice. So, tanan man taguro, hindi man ta magkaon saging nga hilaw. So, nga inom ta kape nga hilaw, di ba? So, this is a coffee cherry, this is a coffee cup. Usually, amo na ning kape nga makita ta, ang sa right side, di ba? Pero, few of us only know that amo na gali ang kape, amo na ang coffee cherry. What are the challenges in the current coffee system or current coffee supply chain? Is sa aton, sa La Carlota, is it's very traditional, it's very cultural, and even though how many times or how many workshops or how many trainings I will take part of, not just in La Carlota, but mostly the number one challenge in the entire Philippines is paano mapapati or paano i-execute ang ideas of a sustainable coffee supply chain. Coffee trees normally taas-taas na, and then kinanan pahagdan mag-harvest kami, gadala pa kami hagdan. Sorry, hindi ko gusto sa La Carlota lang, kay throughout the Philippines amo na problem. We let our coffee trees grow taas-taas na gid, so hindi na siya ma-harvest, mabudlayan na mag-harvest ang aton nga mga farmers. Hello, okay lang? Connected pa man ko, kaya may gatawag sa akong nasa off ako internet. Okay. Ang sa right side, this is how it should be. Hapos lang ma-pick ang coffee, hapos lang malabot, hapos lang ma-harvest, hindi na kinahanglan. So, kinahanglan i-prune always ang coffee para hindi siya maglabot certain height para ma-maximize ang yield. To tell you about the problem gali na we see, why we took this venture or why we took this road, let's talk about statistics na lang. And statistics shows that in Negros Occidental, PSA ni nga data, every hectare, when we say hectare, 10,000 square meters of land, in each hectare in Negros, we can produce 300 kilograms of coffee. So that it's only 300 kilograms. But in Mindanao, in Cavite, they produce 1,000 to 2,000 kilos of coffee per hectare. So kung isipon mo, times 3 ang productivity sa Mindanao and Cavite compared sa aton diri sa Negros. So what are the challenges nga aamuna? Amunang question nga gin-ask namon self namon nga aamuna nga ang Cavite or ang Mindanao makaproduce sila 1 kilo of coffee in each coffee tree, nga kita hindi kalabot half kilo. So that's number one problem gid, ang yield. Hindi productive ang aton nga coffee industry diri sa Negros. That's what we want to change. This one, ari, kung isipon mo, ari ang sa left side sa yubo ni nga coffee, ambot paano ganini. Makita nyo, na sa may down saging na sa left side, amo na nakatasi ang kape. Pero ang sa right side, a productive coffee farm, the other one in sa right side ko, this one is in Himamaylan, sa Tonggo, and ang pinakataas nga part ka coffee is malabot mo lang, ma-harvest mo lang. Ang sa right side, makaproduce na sila for now, it's their 3rd year or 4th year in farming, makaproduce na sila around 700 grams per tree. Pero ang diri ang sa left side naton ang sa yubo niyo, kung mo nakataas ang kape, tanaw mo daw ka-healthy siya, and kataas, pero hindi ka nakakuha da half kilo ng coffee. So that's one of the challenges yung kinalanta ma-answer. Okay pa man tanan? Hello? Okay man?
Yes, sir.
Okay, hindi kay gadgaan ako internet. Kaya naka-data lang ko. Okay, thank you, Jebs. Thank you, Ged, sa pag-confirm. Then this is another problem. This is the worst problem. Every time, every September, October to February, that's the harvest season ng coffee diri sa aton sa Negros. But subong pa lang may text na nag-harvest na sila. So, pati hilaw gina-harvest nila. How you harvest coffee is it should be like this on the right side, all red. Miski tulukon talang guro, di ba? Do mas namit gid ang pula tanan, ang red compared sa green. Di ba? Okay. Mahambal kung may mga gapamati di nga may background or let's say may mga friends di nga from Yubo or from Araal. Mahambal nga budlay na ya pilion yang pula tanan. Di ba? May ari di sino di mga taga-Araal, Honorable Tay, may mga taga-Araal di or taga-Yubo.
Yes, to our DCSK chairman from Araal.
Di mas story
Yonder.
kami nga guro lawig dason. Pero I just wanna point out na if nag-grow properly ang coffee, hindi budlay harveston ang pulatanan. And mind you, ang green tanan nga coffee, ang market value yasina is ginabaligyan nila 600, 700 per sack. But for us, of course, we want to matag man additional benefit sa mga people nga take time and effort. For us, ang price ng all red tanan nga coffee tree is times 3, almost times 4 sometimes. So, ma-rewardan gid ang mga farmers nga practice ng proper protocols. Of course, kinahanglan gid nga lain gid ang price ng green tanan kag sang pula tanan. That's one way of our strategy paano sila ma-encourage to pick red coffees gid always. But the problem is gakatabo for the past 3 years sang pagambal ko hindi na ako magbakal sang hilaw kay before sang pag-start ko, of course, if you wanna instill change, you cannot do it overnight. So, gambal kami at first nga amat-amaton ta. Pero sang sini, 3 years ago, nagambal ko nga sige hindi, naging ko magbakal if hindi pulatanan. Kaya kung mag-harvest sila sang green, kakatabo, naging na pang-utod nila ang kahoy, and then pang-puksion, pang-hamruson. So, ay labot, ginharvest nila ang green nga coffees. Unsustainable pa for the coffee tree since a coffee tree is a living organism. And then ginautod lang nila, and then hindi mag-healthy, and then next year, since guba mo to ang kahoy, what would you expect next year? Gaan niya pakablasang namin nga yield? Of course, hindi na, di ba? But the sad thing about this past 3 years naman, isang balamon hindi namin magbakal pula, ang kakatabo, same Japon, ginahambros man Japon, ginautod man Japon ang kahoy, tapos gina-separate lang nila ang pula, kagamula ginabaligyan nila sa amon. But for me, it's still part of the process. Wala ko ga pating mas stop na ko because I can see the potential of proper growing of coffee in our community. Yep. Again, I want to share, gusto ko lang liwaton, Tay, hindi ko gusto ko i-share sa inyo paano ang process ng coffee and our part of the food system or the coffee system that we want to change. But again, I cannot tell you that if you don't know how coffee is being processed. Diba? So, I want to share with you what happens after harvest of coffee. Because coffee is a very laborious thing. mo sa right side, it's on a cup na with the ice, with a lot of condensed milk and everything. Pero the process from the cherry to cup, it's a very laborious process. And imagine, ang farmers, gaan lang siya 700 pesos, 800 pesos sa isang kasako, nga pang harvest niya. And then, kung magkano mo sa mga kapihan, tigpila ang kape, di ba? Tanaw mo, di inda, paano naka-benefit ang farmer. Questionin mo yung self mo. Pilahan ni kada sip mo sang coffee, pilahan mo naggadto sa farmer to man. Globally, we have a problem about coffee, man, because it's also an environmental problem. Last July 20, third week of July, last month, Brazil is the most coffee producing country, is Brazil, number one. But because they're in the equator, they have a perfect spot for growing coffee. But last month, wala na daga snow or ga-ice sa ila. But last month, gulpiada lang, all of a sudden, nagka-frost. May frost or may snow or ice ang sa farms nila. So nga, aga muna, of course, climate crisis, di ba? Ma-notice na ng ang mga gakatabo sa climate nga hindi nagidya nami. So coffee is apektado gid. Experts say that we will lose 50 million bags of coffee from Brazil next year. Ang 50 million bags of coffee is roughly around 12 trillion cups of coffee. So there will be a shortage in a sense, or what will happen next year is ang coffee prices will go up. Why? Again, climate crisis. So we need, gusto nyo man madula ang coffee sa kalibutan. Hindi, why man guro sa mga gainom di coffee, di ba? So coffee is oftentimes overlooked. Kape lang da, bayan na dayon, may kape na. Pero kung hindi na ipag-focusan, kibotaw ay nakape dason. So it's a very heartbreaking thing what happened in Brazil last month. Na all of a sudden, nagka-frost and nagkalapatay ila coffee. They will lose this year, they will lose 50 million bags, or again, it's 12 trillion cups of coffee. So dulaan ng kalibutan next year, 12 trillion cups of coffee. So it's sad, actually it's sad. That's why we want to create diri sa aton locally some sustainable coffee supply chain. So paano mangin sustainable coffee supply chain and paano ta maka-encourage farmers to grow more coffee the right way if wala taman sila ginatagaan sang importansya. 'Di ba? If gina-take for granted na lang ang mga coffee farmers, or gina-take advantage na lang ang coffee itself. Gina-overlook na lang sa always. So, I don't know, I can imagine life without coffee. I don't know, kamo, ma-imagine nyo. So I will share to you what happens from cherry to cup after ma-harvest. There are 4 major processes in coffee: the traditional, the natural process, and the washed process, and the honey process. But I will focus lang on the traditional process. This is a coffee, cherry, sa left side. And then, sa right side, amuna ang tsuras ang coffee nga wala na roast. Ang wala pa naluto nga coffee. Coffee as an agricultural product. Excuse me. Coffee as an agricultural product pa lang. And then, ang sa left side na, that one is, I don't know if may mga taga-Araal di. May taga-Araal. This one is from Tita Josephine Bayoneta sa Gintubdan. Magkanto mo sa Gintubdan, iya balay. May intersection that going to Pavilion Bago and then pasaka sa Spring, iya nga balay ara lang ginada sa may intersection. And then this coffee cherry actually is very big for its variety. So amo nagambay kung nagapati ito sang potential ta in growing coffee because there are coffees na sa tanan kung alibot, dirita lang nakita sa La Carlota, which we can potentially invest to kung padamuon ta siya. And again, kung maglibot ko, di makagahambal usually is imposible na nga maka 1 kilo ka per tree. Amo gina permi, dokigan ka pa permi. Alin sang lula, kuya ga, tanong kami kape, hindi na kuya pagtudlo, usually ka katabo. But kay Tita Josephine, one particular tree, naka-harvest siya 6 kilograms of coffee. So, since this is entrepreneurship, i-share ko sa inyo. 1 kilogram of coffee na unroasted, this one, ang sa right side, traditionally, if kung anong galakat sa market, it's only 90 pesos per kilo. Okay? 90 pesos per kilo. But for me, we want to change that system because again, 90 pesos per kilo for the coffee is, kung isipon mo, do ka mahal, pero hindi eh. Kaya after mo na ma-roast, and if a coffee shop ka, after mo na siya ma-roast and ma-sell mo siya, the margins are very big. So, for me, kung nami ang quality ka coffee, I buy coffee up until 200 pesos per kilo. That's in Murcia because may ara farm sa Murcia na they are very, damo na sila awards and their coffee quality can speak for itself. And amo na ang aton gusto man nga ma-achieve for La Carlota nga may amo man ta na nga produce sa La Carlota. Ang kay Tita Josephine Bayoneta, ang coffee ni nga sa left side, ang dako-dako nga beans. For now, na may iya quality. The quality is very good, but the quantity is very low naman. Sa subong a year, though almost 30 kilos pa lang ang nakuha ko sa iya. So it's very limited ang quality, ang quantity sang namin nga coffee sa aton sa La Carlota. I always talk to people and say nga aga bakal ka pa kape sa Mindanao, nga gakuha pa sa Bukidnon, nga gakuha ka pa coffee sa Benguet or sa Sultan Kudarat, nga may-ari man di sa aton. May-ari dito sa aton, damo di kape sa aton. But in terms of quality, we are layo-layo kita in terms of quality. And mind you, since damo ang nami nga quality coffee sa Mindanao, ang price nila to sang nami nga coffee, ang 90 pesos to nila, kag 90 pesos naton di, layo-layo gid ang difference in terms of quality. So, amo man ang aton gusto ma-achieve nga magdamo ang aton produce ang quality nga coffee diri sa La Carlota itself. Okay. From the coffee cherry, amo ni sang sa sulod kung buksan mo. Kung may-ari di sa inyo siguro nga nakakita na coffee cherry, do ka nami siya ugumon kay katamis, di ba? So may skin and then do may pulp and then this is the green beans. Amo ning ang sa pinaka lower left side, amo na siyang unroasted coffee na. Ang ready for roasting na. So this is the traditional process. Amo gining katabo, let's say 90% sa La Carlota. After i-harvest, i-dry siya sa dalan, iban sa duta, swerte na kung may trapal, sa dalan, sa basketball court, sang sa araal, sang inakayo ang asfalto sa araal, gani, may bulad pag sa asfalto. So imagine mo, those practices, ang kape mo mas palto, ganyan yung bao, if that's the case. So and then, manual dehaling. Dehaling is the process of removing the skin, coffee bean. And then sifting, ginabayo, and then after na, gina-sift siya to separate the skin from the beans. Amo na siya ang katabo, 90% sa aton sa La Carlota. But supposed to be, amo ni siya ang standard. I mean, this is where we want to start. This is what we do, yeah. After we harvest coffee, it should be dried on a raised bed. Magsin the raised bed, do papag bala, and then may cover, yun na siya dapat ng plastic, and it should all be red. And then after na, may mechanized nga haling machine, and then after na nakuha ang beans, ang skin sa na-separate ng skin kag ang beans, amo na sa pinaka right side ang imo makita. Amo na siyang unroasted. If you notice, kung padalman, kung clear sa inyo ang picture, may mga black pa nga beans sa pinaka right side. After na, may sorting pag ginagakatabo, ang ginakakas na ang mga black and mga damages sa coffee bean because it will affect the flavor. Pero sa aton, ang amo ng isa ka problema sa coffee industry is ginalagas ta permi ang pinakabarato nga price kung magbakal kape. Pero it's logical, kung pinakabarato nga kape ang panitaon ta, the word there is barat. Ginabarat naman ang farmers. Barat man ang gakabaton sang farmers. So imagine kung sa aton lang dabutan ta sa La Carlota. If barat ang presyo permi sa sang price sang coffee, if gamay price sang pamakal sang coffee, kung kamo man be farmer, matanong ka pa kape, mas spend time ka pa growing coffee if wala ka man lang gakabaton sang reward nga dapat nga deserving mo. 'Di ba? So, hindi di ba? So, di na makuha kape ta sa uli. Paano kung makahambal nga ma-improve ta ang coffee quality or coffee production sa La Carlota if ma-focus lang ko sa pinakabarato per mga price. 'Di ba? Not just in the coffee industry but the whole agricultural industry guro. Gina-take for granted the permi kag price permi ginalagas na permi pinakabarato nga price. I mean, of course, kay save ka, may budget ka, pero imagine mo na lang ginabarat mo gid ang farmers if baklon mo man sang barato ang kape. But of course, kinahanglan nami gid ang quality. That's why we educate farmers continually. This is the wash process. Di wala ni pag-discuss kay medyo may gaamo naman na di sa La Carlota. We do wash process. Nasa Salamangka, since they're a very big hacienda actually, and dako ilang production, they do wash process. And then honey process. Okay. Gusto ko lang permi sa kada presentation ko about coffee, about again, do nag-coffee 101 na ta. But this is just gindasig ko lang ni ang coffee nga talk ha, kay supposed to be it's a 2-day coffee 101 na talk pero gin-summarize ko lang. Pero amo ning kakatabo, gina-highlight ko gid permi, this is kay Tita Josephine sa gintubdan. After niya na i-harveston, gina-isa-isa ginakuha ang panit, and then gina-dry niya, and then gina-isa, kung itanawon nyo, arang sa second photo, gina-isa-isa ginahampak ang kape, gina-isa-isa panit ang kape, and then ang pag-dry. And then, ang sa pinaka-right side, kung makita nyo, usually, duwala na kakape na seeds ang makita mo sa isa ka cherry. But it's very unusual na nakakita kami isang 3 kabilog na cherries, na beans sa isa ka cherry. So imagine, bilog na adlaw kaga pamanit kape, tapos baraton ka lang. So sino pa na may gana nga magbakal coffee, mag-grow coffee the proper way if that's the case, 'di ba? Again, after the raw beans nga ready na, amo na ang roasting. It brings the aroma, the flavor, and actually it's a science and an art at the same time. So from this green beans and sa left side, after roasting, amo na siyang sa right side. So familiar na ta na kung anong tsura kakape amo ning ang it's sad lang kay sometimes up until this moment 2021 na, may mamit ka Japon nga tabi nila ang kape powder na. So powder lang gid ya, wala sila kabalo nga beans. But let's talk about coffee some other time naman. I just wanna focus on the supply chain lang. Again, going back to transforming food systems as an entrepreneur, this is the coffee trading system, the traditional coffee trading system. When I started this journey in 2014, sang naglibot ko throughout Negros, amugid ni ang katabo. You cannot buy coffee directly from the farmers. Nga kay may middleman always. Nara sa tunga. Just to make myself clear, traders and consolidators it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just that commonly nga ma-meet mo nga trader kag consolidator sa Negros, and in my experience, kalabanan ko nga ma-meet nga traders is ga-take advantage gid always sang farmers. I've met some nga ethically sourcing, ethically trading coffee, but most of the consolidators or trader that I met in my experience are taking advantage of the farmers gid. And when I started nga gina-bypass ko sila direkta ko sa farmers, isa makita ka pa kontra, but I mean it's part of the process. It's part of the process, and hindi mo na pag-mind since you are committed to the goal in solving a societal problem through entrepreneurship. So, hindi mo na pag-mind ang iba nga challenges if may mga amo nga challenges. So, this process, this is the traditional system. Ang si farmer, ang ga-plant, ang ga-harvest, ga-process ka coffee niya. And then, every barangay or every sitio, or sometimes every city, kung diri gani sa aton area, maaaraan na isa duwa nga pamakal sang tanan nga kape, regardless of the quality. And then after na ginamix na nila tanan-tanan nga kape nga mabakal nila throughout all the places that they bought coffee from. And then sa amo nga system, ang traders, they dictate the price. And since they dictate the price, they can buy low-priced coffee. So again, kung low-priced coffee, sino ang suffer? The farmers. And then the traders and the consolidators, nga ginubra nila laway lang man and storya lang, baligya man nila sa roasters dayon. Ginapatungan na lang nila. And most of the time, sila pang wala mayo ginubra, sila pang dako income compared sa farmer. Which is sad, actually. Because I believe, as an entrepreneur, money should be hard-earned gid na iya. Hindi na siling nga do kahapos-hapos lang nga, mambal ka lang amo na, waslikan ka dayon. It's not the proper way of doing entrepreneurship. It should always be hard-earned money. So this is the current or the traditional trading system for coffee, or the traditional coffee supply chain nga gadalagan subong sa coffee industry. But we want to change this. And the way we want to change this is just like what we do now. It's from the farmer rekta na sa roaster. We gapang talas kami sang farms or sang bukid to meet coffee farmers, to have coffee quality education, technical support. Galing ang challenge lang naman na di is most of the time hindi mo sila mapapati, because farmers, or not just farmers, most people is to see is to believe, di ba? So we also make sure that our coffee is directly traded. When I say directly traded, wala na middleman. Gariktagid always on who grows the coffee. And even though, I just want to point this out, even though we support farmers to improve their quality, we always emphasize na it's a free market still. Not because ginabuligan ko si, example, si Teya may farm, si Honorable Teya may farm, not because ginabuligan ko siya sa farm niya, hindi na siya dapat magbaligya coffee niya sa iban. So that's not what we do. Yeah, it's still a free market. If there are buyers na willing to pay more for your coffee price, then go sell sa ila. If malagas naman ang price, syempre lagso namon. But it's not a process na kay ginbuligan ka namon, you're obligated na sa amon ka na mabaligya. No, it's not the proper way of doing business. That's not what we do. And of course, it's direct trading. Again, it's direct to the farmers. And it's traceability. It's traceable na dapat. Our coffee is always traceable to the farmer. That's why in some coffees, some coffees nga gina-pack namon or gina-roast, we always put the name of the farmer sa packaging. Ginabutang ginada namon. Why? Number one, to give pride to the person who grows the coffee. Diba? Uy, ako nga lang to makita nila nga ala, ako nga lang dapat next year na mion ko pagid ako pag-process ng coffee. Diba? So it gives them a sense of pride and at the same time accountability. Diba? Ay dapat hindi ko pagbalagpatan lang pag-grow ang kape ko kay traceable gid dapat. I mean, the list goes on for the positive effects of traceability, and not just in coffee, but in the whole agricultural system as a whole. Traceability is the key. It should always be traceable. That's why we put the name of the farmers sa packaging. There are some, kung ang amon bi nga coffee, kung makita nyo wala name ka farmer, it's because ang iban wala man kapasugot ng ibutang ila name, because of course we kami consent nila if okay ng ibutang. Hindi man nami yang ibutang na namon name nila without asking first permission. So as much as possible, we want to highlight the farmer on all the bags of coffee that we sell. That's why we put their name in the coffee, in the bags. And since it's a quality focused nga production, we buy the coffee depending on the price na. Kung ang drink traders, kung ang consolidators, kung sa current traditional coffee trading system, si traders ang kapamakal, sila mismo ang dictate ng price. Kung agani subo lang kay maglibot ka, by example, July, June, wala pa harvest season, malibot kabi kag mangita ka farmers kag mambal nga tayo pa nami untay mo kape ha, baklon ko na pula nami nga quality. Ang subo lang is gambal na to may tag-iya na nautangan ko na. 'Di ba? So it's sad in a way, pero you cannot blame them of course because they have their own challenges man. But what we want to let them know lang na if they need support, we are here to help them. In short, wala pa na harvest ang kape na utangan na nila sa trader. So that's one problem man. Again, sa quality focused nga coffee supply chain naman niya, since it's quality oriented, the farmers can dictate the price. Again, imagine sa Araal na lang, sa Araal. Kung maglibot ka sa Araal, ang pamaligya nila sang per gantang pero if you convert it per kilo, the price of coffee there is around 90 to 110 per kilo. I'm talking about unroasted, wala na roast na coffee. But one farm in Murcia, they're selling it for 200 pesos per kilo. So that 110, 90 pesos, 110 nga gap compared sa Araal and Murcia nga price, it's a very good thing for the farmer. Since nami ila income sa coffee, they will be more inspired to grow more quality coffee, 'di ba? So that's why we need to focus on quality sa coffee. Hindi kay subong sang pag-pandemic, 'di ba? Na-notice yun, nagdamo-damo ang coffee shops. And then ang kalabanan yung gapangita supplier, price gid permi ang ginapamangkot. But ang pamangkot naman is barato imo kape barat ang bakal mo sang coffee cherries mo, or coffee roasted coffee mo, pamangkuton mo naman, pila ay nagkadto sa farmer. I made a computation, wala ko lang nabutang sa presentation, nag-compute ko last time. But if this is the system that we are following, per cup of coffee, for example, sa tag-15 nga kapihan, per cup of coffee, roughly around, hindi kalabot 1 peso, sa 15 pesos na, hindi kalabot 1 peso ang nagkadto sa farmer. So imagine mo na lang let that sink in na lang. So, sino pa bi gusto magtanong kape if amo lang man ang ilang nga mabaton, 'di ba? One problem man that I want to share, wala ko lang siya nabutang man, sorry sa presentation, but I want you guys to be aware, pila di kamo, pila ta subong Ma'am Tay, 30 something, 40. We need to, I just want you to be, gusto ko lang ma-share sa inyong information about mislabeling coffee. It's very prevalent sa pag-start ka pandemic because nagdamo-damo ang gabaligya online selling ka coffee. If you can see damo coffee nga Benguet, Barako, amo nang mga label sa coffee, di ba? But first-hand experience of my friend in La Trinidad, in Benguet, what happens in Baguio Market, in Baguio Market, ang iban, dito nga bakal kape sa Baguio, sa ilan na tindahan, damo-damo na garaya nga kapihan, tapos nga bakal da kape, naka-label as Benguet, Sagada, Barako. But the problem is, it's not really from Benguet, it's not from Sagada, it's not even Barako. Those are coffees from Vietnam, from Indonesia, and from other neighboring Asian countries na ginamislabel lang nila as Sagada, as Benguet, to get the sense of locality para feeling mo magbakal ka, ay support ko sa farmers. 'Di ba? Which is a very, it's a very evil thing if they're doing that. So next time, if you buy coffee, you should always know where the coffee comes from. We have the saying in the coffee industry na don't buy coffee from strangers. So don't buy coffee from strangers because most of the coffee nga na-sell sa market subong is all mislabeled. Those are imported coffee nga gin-label lang nila as local. Imagine, we need to boost our coffee food system, our coffee system, since on every 10 cups of coffee nga ginadrink naton in the Philippines, only 3 cups of it comes from the Philippines. So 70% sa ginainom tanga kape sa Philippines is all imported. We only produce 30% of what we consume. So which is sad also because the Philippines is very blessed with very good soil nga makaproduce na namin nga coffee. But what is stopping that? This traditional system, gid. Amo gining gaguba for me, amo gining gaguba ang slow down sang aton nga goal for a sustainable coffee supply chain. That's why I believe coffee quality should always be the factor in drinking, in buying coffee. Just to share with you, if may makilala kamo din nga coffee farmers, no? This one, I don't know if clear sa Zoom, but you can access this in pcqc2021.com. PCQC is Philippine Coffee Quality Competition. It is held annually. And kung na-notice nyo sa Arabica and Robusta, sa Arabica, ang nag-first runner-up, nabakal iya nga coffee at $52 per kilo. That's 2,500 pesos per kilo. Imagine lang if ano ang sense of pride nga ma-feel ka farmer if makaproduce sa amo nga coffee, di ba? And then for Robusta, it is sold at $18 per kilogram, around 800 pesos per kilo. So PCQC, this is an annual event by the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department of Agriculture. What they do actually is they gather coffee samples around the Philippines, and then they check the quality. They compete for the quality. And then ang top 10 sina, they go on a bidding. Ginapabid dayon ang coffee. So kung makita nyo sa location ng part sang chart, may mga buyers from USA, from UK, from Canada. So it's possible. It's possible. These coffees are all from the Philippines, and they can sell up until 2,500 per kilo. Ginaagawan ng kape. It's just a matter of commitment as a consumer man na be choosy sa mga ginainom yung mga kape. We need to be choosy sa mga ginainom ng kape. Kaya again, it's the most underappreciated beverage. Mabugtaw ta mainom ta kape pero wag kita kabalo kung ano ang process kag kung ano ang gaka-feel sa mga farmers. So hopefully, di ba? Basi dason kung tanaw today may ari di ang number 1, Marites Arellano Arabica Catimor, this is from Mount Apo. Hopefully basi may ari na di La Carlota sa PCQC. So that's still a dream, but hopefully it's an attainable dream. It's an attainable dream. It's very easy. If damo ang committed nga tao to support quality coffee. From consumer side, we can support it by being choosy on the coffee that we drink. We should know where our coffee comes from, 'di ba? Sang pag I don't know, I don't want to get political, pero sang 'di ba sang nagwa gani ang news nga ma-import ta rice, damo tao ga reklamo, 'di ba? Nga ma-import pa ta. But in coffee, it's an everyday thing. We import 70% of what we drink. Again, every 10 cups of coffee in the Philippines, 7 cups na imported. We only produce 30%. So how can we attain the goal to be a sustainable coffee producing country? Quality is the key. So this is just, I'm showing this chart as an inspiration always. Imagine si Marites Arellano, ang nag-first runner-up, nasa Lea Coffee at $52 per kilo. And she has 118 kilos. Sa 118 kilos na lang, naka $6,000 siya. That's roughly 4,000 for two sacks of coffee. So in my end, since I'm just a small coffee roaster, ang contact ko yung mga sa PCQC, ang mga naperdi lang, kaya ang ilalang niya kape, ang kaya ko baklon. So, mula na yan ako, masarangan. So, mga naperdi lang, from dito, gin-contact ko lang yan from 7, rank 7 to 10, dito lang yung nagbakal coffee. Hindi ta kasarang sa mga rank 1 to 3 yun. But, it's still, the quality is way beyond what we produce in our community, specifically in La Carlota. That's why one of our strategies, man, is we created a demo farm where we were able to practice the proper growing of coffee. It's fragmented. It's located one in Pataan and the other one is in Balabag. Si Tim nakakadto na to and some other Cedric Tim, ikaw lang nakakadto dito, no? Pero that's the dream. We started the farm in Balabag in 2000 last year lang, and then we're gonna plant another 1,500 trees this next month. So hopefully maybe we can create a project SP of a coffee tree planting next month, since we will be planting another 1,500 coffee trees next month sa Balabag. So those who are interested to join, let me know. Yeah, just let me know. We can create a program or an activity for that. What we do there is we follow proper protocols on growing coffee, so that farmers in Aral, in Yubo, in San Miguel, in neighboring towns and areas can see for themselves that if they follow these proper protocols in growing coffee and if they focus on quality coffee, maybe someday sila naman ang already sa chart ka Philippine Coffee Quality Competition. Diba? Maybe 3 years, 5 years from now, ginabaligya naman nila ila coffee at 2.5 per kilo. So it's not impossible. It's not impossible. So before ending my presentation, I just want to share this photo sa inyo. This photo is, kung basahan nyo, Batango Blend, once tried, always used. Sold at wholesale price by Filipino Coffee Company. If you see, this was taken in 1900s, 1901 preferably. Makita nyo may mga sako, may mga ligya sila silig, and Batango Coffee. This photo is taken in 1900s, and it's taken in Pike's Place in Seattle. And Pike's Place is the market where Starbucks was born. So before Starbucks was born, may ginabaligya na yung kape Filipino sa Pike's Place market. In the 1900s, Philippines was the third most producing coffee country in the world. Gasunda na ilang tani Indonesia, Brazil, and then Philippines. So the question is, what happened nga nag-change? Diba? So these dreams or this sustainability that we are aiming for, it's not impossible because we've been there already. Imagine this photo, this is in the United States, and then gabaligya to sila Filipino coffee sa ila tindahan, where Starbucks was born. This is even before Starbucks was born. So this is a very inspiring photo, and I printed this and framed it actually to remind us that it's not this sustainability in coffee. It's not an impossible dream because we've been there again. All we need to do is focus on quality. Don't buy coffee from strangers. Be mindful of the coffee that you drink. Hindi kita mislabeled coffee because that's the number one problem that we have. Mislabeled coffee. Import coffee and then ginatag as local. Ikaw man yung wala kabalo, you feel nice man since you're drinking local coffee. But it's mislabeled. It's from Indonesia, gali. It's from Vietnam, gali. So it's very sad. So that's what we do in Cafe Norma. That's my life. That's what I do as an entrepreneur in changing the food system, in changing the coffee system. And before, since we're talking about coffee, I'm not saying that we have the best coffee because flavor is very objective. The best coffee is always the one you love to drink. Even though puno pa na sang kondensada ang kape mo, if mo na namian mo yay mo na, why ko da problema? But coffee should also be sustainable, farmer-oriented, and most especially fairly traded always. We need to be mindful about that always again. So, in the past few slides na share, going back in entrepreneurship, that's how we are solving social problems and seeing the entrepreneurial opportunities. We are trying to change the current or the traditional coffee system that is happening now, and we're focusing on quality para ma-solve ang social issues on the coffee industry. Because again, it's very overlooked. Again, kung rice gani, gawd sa aton if mag-import rice, coffee. Only 3 cups of coffee in every 10 ang local. We import 70% of what we drink. So we always need to be creative. We always need to be critical at thinking strategies. We should always have the initiative to do the work good always. And we should be persistent in all the challenges because kung challenges gurong i-share ko sa inyo basi kulang ang 40 minutes na take. And we should always be adapting to change. Change is constant. It's never ending. We should always be adapting to change. Good. And of course, we should always have the discipline. Again, I want to remove the notion na if ganegosyo ka, sadya kay wala ka boss, it's the totally opposite because kontra mo self mo gid. Procrastination is the number one enemy. So, hopefully, may value ang gin-share ko sa inyo today. And hopefully, I was able to may na-learn man kamo, tane. Hopefully. Kahit papano. And my experience for the past 7 years. And if you have questions, if you have anything, questions or suggestions, or if you want to contact me, youth man na dito na, Instagram lang, ko TikTok, or Messenger. If ano ko sa shop, kuita lang ko anytime, hindi naman kita ay, let me know if may questions, if whatever you need, we can try to give. So, thank you for the opportunity again to share my experience, my entrepreneurial journey for the past 7 years. And hopefully, may makastart man ta diri business which can solve social issues or technological issues which can bridge the gap yun. Ma-start ka naman lang gid business, Simon, mo na lang two hits. Ma-start ka naman lang gid business, hit two birds in one stone na lang while solving a problem and making money. So that's it. Thank you very much, Tay. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much to our speaker. What an informative and insightful talk coming from the man himself, the man behind the Cafe Norma. This speaks why Cafe Norma is still, the coffee shop to beat in the city. It's not because of the flavors that it offers and the variety of food that it caters, but it's because it's the home of the locally made products. And we can say that a good and true entrepreneurship is when a brand empower locals and address social concerns. And that speaks enough for what our speaker talked about this morning. At this time, we give the floor to our SK Federation president to give out the certificate of appreciation and or recognition to our speaker.
Okay, pwede lang naton ma-share screen, please.
Exit to stop share.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, Republic of the Philippines, Province of Negros Occidental, City of La Carlota, SK Federation awards this certificate of recognition to Mr. Christian Mark Romay, owner and of Cafe Norma for dedicating his time, expertise, and efforts by serving as guest speaker for the Day 2 Entrepreneurship webinar, given this 24th of August in the year of our Lord 2021 during the Linggo ng Kabataan held at La Carlota City, Province of Negros Occidental, Philippines. Signed by yours truly. Thank you so much, Sir Mark.
Thank you, Tay. Thank you so much. Thank you again.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gisela, and thank you so much again to our speaker. Now is the time we will accommodate questions, queries, and clarifications. Our speaker is very much welcome and honored if you have questions to ask, if there's things you wish to clarify on his talk. If may mga gusto ka mo i-ask if how did he manage to deal with his business despite the amount of shops already established here in the city nga kadamo na kompetensya, paano yun na-manage, or questions that revolve about sa entrepreneurship itself. Mas startup feeling ko, may ara siya ihambal, and I feel like may insight man siya nga imuno. Can I ask Honorable Alfonso Hamora III, are there anything you wish to say?
Neighbor.
Hello. Good morning. Hi, sir. First of all, sorry, it's a bad lighting, bad angle. So, it's really eye-opening and again informative that especially sa part nga coffee has the same issue with the rice import, but there is a difference when it comes to the noise that people makes when in fact ado-adlaw man tag inom coffee kag do pariyo lang man sa ado to ka daily man naton nga consumption sang coffee pero lain gid ang noise nga nga nagabatian ta when it comes to sa muna sa do ka iptanay nga katabo behind sa coffee industry. So I think it is really time to show great appreciation sa coffee, especially kay sa mga college students sa aton sa mga pamatanon pantawid tigid niya mong kape gid ya. Do ka hindi ka gid siya mabuhi kung wala kape. So I think uh, ang ginmuno gina ni Sir Mark nga pwede ta guro ka upod siya mag-plant coffee do ka it's a first step or a way nga makapromote ta sustainability sa La Carlota kag basi soon ara naman to ang ngalan ta sa ginpakita ni Sir nga list sang ara naman ng La Carlota kag ang name ni Sir. So we are here good sir to help you. The Sangguniang Kabataan Federation of La Carlota is here good for sustainability and more greener projects. Kag kabalugi kami nga amo man ang imong nga goal kay nakaupod ka na namon sa takod. So thank you good sir.
Thank you, Noy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Alfonso Mor III. Ano pa, may idugang kamo na ihambal, may ara kamo nga ipamangkot. If na-shy kamo to open your microphones, you can ask away sa aton na chat. You can leave your questions and queries on our chat and we will read it out na lang. Wala, clarified na ano lang kamo guro, feeling ko we were overwhelmed and you didn't see the information coming because ginwalk through ta actually ni Sir Christian Mark in his entrepreneurship life of what's the reason behind Cafe Norma, how its brand nag-boom up until now because of the coffee, and it's amazing to look at the different side of the coin through his journey towards being an entrepreneur. Kanami lang. Wala na? Wala questions? Wala anything you wish to add? All right. I hope that made clear na ang talk and we are very much thankful again for the presence of our speaker, Mr. Christian Mark Romay. Please know also that Mr. Romay is very much open for collaboration in case he's into advocacies and social issues actually. That's how empowered his business is. So the SK Federation I know has collaborated to Mr. Romay already, but in future reference you could still work it out together and collaborate with him. Mr. Romay,
Always.
is there anything pa you wish to tell or you wish to say?
Yeah,
Departing
I
message.
just want to, I just want to add lang, boy. Pares ko kanina, since you mentioned that how I was able to manage since nagdamo-damo ng shops or competitors in La Carlota, and I don't see them as competitors, honestly. I see them as partners. I see them as partners because why? The reason why we started Norma, the first place, is before Norma, I want to envision it as like kung magpa La Carlota ka, you should pass by La Carlota. I mean, you should pass by Norma. And then that time do ka we wala may kakadto sa La Carlota mayo eh. So we want to promote food tourism as well. Our goal is food tourism. And now it's happening. So it's a partnership. It's not a competition. I mean, in a sense, it's a friendly competition. But we are promoting, all of us, all the food businesses in La Carlota is promoting food tourism. Diba? Ang mga taga San Enrique, taga Castillana, neighboring countries and towns, diba? Damo na mga visitors from those places. So, if you, as a business, if you're starting a business and you really know why you started the business, if there are competitors, you don't see them as a competition, you see them as partners. Because I believe it's all about collaboration along the way. Direct trade, traceability, and transparency in business is the best thing. That's it.
Yes, sure enough. You don't see gid other people as competitors, whether man kamo sa politics or what. There's a friendly competition, but you don't look at that aspect. You work together na lang to achieve one goal and, to become one in the service of the people. All right, to officially end our webinar for today, we give the floor to our SK Federation President, Honorable Gisela Therese Jumento.
Thank you, Jebs. First of all, mapasalamat gid ko kay Sir Mark for saying yes, no, sa amon invitation sa iya nga mag-speak sa aton subong, and we're very honored and we're very lucky nga gintagaan mo kami sir time mo nga mag-share sang experience mo, and damo kami na learn. And oh no, ma-agree lang gid ko to kagina sa ginahambal ni sir nga nang magkadto di bala sa La Carlota, sa tuod lang ginapangita gid yan nila yang Cafe Norma, di inang Cafe Norma. Halin sang college ko, mga classmates ko from different cities and municipalities, wala kata sa Cafe Norma, kaya munang nagsikat gid ang Cafe Norma, and because sa coffee. And you know, to unsa tombal gina ni Alfonso, kita nga mga students, kita nga mga young people, kape is life gid ya. Kay ang katuyo batuan tagid sa kape ay nag-open gid gani kam sa LA kag Cebuon, kay syempre sila gina ang kape is life. Maka-relate gina sila ni Noy Noy ang mga kape is life giniya. Bala na magtaas acid, magsaka acid, basta kape is life. Wala di ang aton. And na-learn taman nga hindi gali dali-dali nga ano ka lang, mag-open ka lang business, especially if coffee business pa, because there's a process. Damo kagid maagyan, and at the same time, while there's a process, we're learning it, and we're very very happy no nga gin-share gina sa aton ni Sir Mark. And hopefully nang ang aton nga federation maka-collaborate pagid liwat man kay Sir Mark, and I know nga very active gid siya sa mga advocacies niya, and pwede gid ta maka collaborate sa iya. So thank you so much kid Sir Mark. We're very very happy gid for sa imo nga lecture this morning, and we're very honored to have you here. Thank you, and to everyone
Nice
nga
day.
join, thank you man for taking time and effort nga pamati, because I know nga ang mga webinar ni ang iba niya natak-an na but ini nga mga webinar kita nga mga youth, this is where we can learn sa subong, especially arta sa pandemic. Kabudlay magtipon-tipon, kabudlay gathering, but ini another way naman ni nga gin ano ta nga webinar kita continue to learn bala in another way naman, kay ta subong lang sa balay naton no ginaiwasan ta man magka-COVID. So thank you gid everyone, especially to our speaker Sir Mark. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable Gisela Therese Homento. Now, before we officially end our webinar, we request everyone to please turn on your cameras, because we will be having our photo up. While we are waiting for others to turn on their cameras, if you have noticed in our chat here at Zoom, there's a link again. There's a Google Docs link. Please access the Google Docs link. This is for your certificate. You have to fill out the form for your certificate. Again ha, hindi malipat, before ka mo magalin sa Zoom meeting, access yun danay ang inyong link kay para sa certificate ninyo. Alright, again, requesting everyone to turn their cameras on. Kung maka-on malang, go. It doesn't matter if where you are, quick lang para sa aton na photo op for documentation. Sige, do 2 page ta, 2 ka page ta sa aton kay kadamo sa aton this morning. So smile lang ta. And wait lang, sige lang, ano lang na sila, picture lang na sila. Sige, 1, 2, 3, smile! Very plastic.
Okay na, Jobs.
Okay,
Okay.
page 2. Nakuha mo ng duwa nang? Alright, sige. Thank you again so much, everyone, for today. Please be reminded of the remaining activities for the rest of the week. Honorable Gisela, what remaining activities do we have for the week, gani? Just a reminder for everyone.
Okay, tomorrow, this afternoon actually, we will have a simultaneous feeding program per barangay. And tomorrow afternoon, we have a leadership webinar. That's on Wednesday. And on Thursday, whole day is the project proposal defense. Per barangay man na siya, ang mga representatives nyo, kindly remind them that it's on Thursday na. And on Friday is our closing program.
All right. Make sure to set your calendars and make yourselves ready for the rest of the week, because you've been busy and we've been jam-packed with activities. All right. Thank you so much again for today, and God bless everyone, whatever plans you have for today. Enjoy it and do it for the love of the Lord and for the people. God bless, and thank you so much again, Mr. Christian Mark Romay.